Välkomna till advokatsamfundspodden som den här gången kommer att hållas på engelska. För vi har besök av generalsekreterarna från de nordiska advokatsamfunden Norge, Danmark och Finland, och de ska snart få presentera sig. Och poddavsnittet idag handlar om AI, den tekniska utvecklingen och hur den påverkar advokatyrket på olika sätt. So now English, and it is a true pleasure having the opportunity to welcoming the Secretary Generals for the Nordic Bar Associations to Stockholm. We gathered at the hotel in the center of Stockholm, and you are here to attend a conference on legal tech. So please, just your name and where you come from.
My name is Hjuler Crichton, and I'm the Danish Secretary General for the Danish Bar and Law Society.
Niko Jakobsson, Secretary General of the Finnish Bar Association.
Merete Smith, Secretary General of the Norwegian Bar Association.
And I'm Edwall Insulander, the Secretary General of the Swedish Bar.
And I am Willy Silberstein, by the way. Great. So Merete, you have arranged legal tech days in Norway. Why did you start that?
We started it because we thought that every lawyer should have a chance to really learn about legal tech and to get tools to be more efficient and to take part in the modern way of giving legal services. And at the time we thought many lawyers, especially in small law firms, thought it was sort of too difficult or maybe a little bit scary to start to use legal tech. So we thought that if we arranged a legal tech day like we are having here today, they could come and they could look around and they could hopefully take home a few technical software or hardware that could make them going to start using legal tech.
Great. And maybe it's a very basic question, but legal tech is not the same as AI, right?
No, legal tech is sort of all technical tools, hardware, software that you can use to help you in legal services, while AI, artificial intelligence, is only a small part of the legal tech.
Great. So, Andrew, in Denmark, would you say lawyers have come far in using legal tech, or are you just at the beginning?
I think it's been actually a long period of time where we've been adding on layers of legal tech, beginning with the more simple things as being able to look things up on the internet, digitalization of the legislation in Denmark, and then coming forward to where we are today, where it's much more integrated into the work. So I say, yes, we are taking it on very seriously and working with it, but there's still a far way to go before we are completely digitalized in everything we do as lawyers. But in general, the Danish society is very digital. You can do a lot of things on the internet. So I think we have a good starting position for using it.
So you're not just at the beginning, you have come some way.
Well, I think sometimes, as Merete said, like there's a difference between AI and then legal tech, and sometimes it's kind of mixed together. And I think there's a big difference of having really just legal tech sort of enabling you to do legal work faster and at a lower cost, and then actually going into the field of where it's artificial intelligence, where the digitalization is really doing the sort of legal assumption for you. And at that point, we are probably just more at a starting point. So it's a differentiation between the two sort of issues.
So, Niko, Finland, where are you in this field?
I think we are having more pace now than we have had, but of course Finland...
Sounds like you had a slow start.
No. But as you know, Finland is a tech country, so of course we have roots there. But within the law legal sector, especially small law firms are now more interested in to adapt legal technology.
When you say they're interested, but they haven't really started using it systematically.
Yeah, and maybe they haven't had resources, and I think legal tech is more also available for smaller law firms.
Mia, where is Sweden on this scale?
But I agree, it's quite a big difference between the big law firms. They have worked with a different kind of legal tech and AI for many years now, or at least a couple of years, I would say. But for the smaller law firms, I think they right now are very interested in trying to find the right tools and the right ways for them to work. And that's why we're arranging this legal tech day also today, to be able to show all the lawyers, what's on the market and how they can use different different tools.
And as far as I understand, there's a big interest here in Sweden for this Legal Tech Day.
Yeah, we're very happy. I mean, we're inspired by Norway and Denmark, so we're not the first arranging a tech day like this. But now when we finally have done it, it's a big interest. I know many hundred lawyers, and they can come here for free and try and visit and listen to different seminars regarding AI and legal tech.
And now I would like to hear some concrete examples, because legal tech, it sounds impressive and so on. But what is it? Give me what's the best thing you have used legal tech for in your work as a lawyer?
I think for me, in the Bar Association, I use it mostly. I use it a lot by translating, but also in the Bar Association in the disciplinary cases, we use it to summarize all the documents, to make timelines, to check on facts in the case. We do not use it to actually write the case. We are not there at all. But I think for lawyers, for lawyers who have many documents, they use it to get also a grip of the case, and you can also use it to check, statements up against each other and find discrepancies that you wouldn't be able to find on your own. And I've heard also now many defense lawyers saying that they use it to sort of really to go through all the facts of the case and to make a timeline is really good, and also to find, if you are in court and suddenly one witness is talking about something, then the AI can help you very quickly find where all the relevant statements from to the police on this issue, and they can get it up very fast, and they could say, ask then the witness, well, you explain this now, but you said to the police that so-and-so, or maybe you could say some other witness had said that on that date.
And that works?
That works, yes. So I think, so it's really, and I think that's maybe where they've come the most, or where most lawyers use it, is to sort of get a hold on facts when they have large amount of documents.
Niko, in Finland, what do you think is the typical user among lawyers? What do they do with legal tech?
For the first AI solutions were for legal due diligence. So when we had the large transactions and plenty of, maybe tens of thousands of documents, it make you faster to go through all the material and find the key facts, and especially the red flags from that,
right.
Some of the documents.
And Andrew?
I agree. I think it's really the potential by summarizing huge quantities of information. For example, if you do mergers and acquisitions, the traditional due diligence where you would have a lot of lawyers sitting in rooms going through contracts, you can do that very quickly, digitalized now. So there's an enormous potential in saving costs for the clients, simply because you can do this quicker and faster to really sort of filter out the documents you need to then go through more sort of in person to actually evaluate what is this sort of having an impact on the actual transition.
Emilia, the Swedish picture.
It's the same, but I'm thinking also for the criminal lawyers, like Merete said, for them, very often they get investigations that are, many thousand pages, and they have to go through them, and now they can ask AI to summarize it and try to show which pages are the most important and so on. So that's a big thing.
And to be honest, I'm not that impressed. This is what everybody uses AI for and legal tech. But up till now, it's mainly to summarize huge volumes of documents. It's not to find legal solutions and so on. Or am I naive when I say that? Maybe it's not possible.
Yeah, I think that AI is not replacing a lawyer. We will still need a lawyer to gather everything and understand the legal points. So, of course, those will help lawyers as well. And those tools, legal tech tools, are developed especially for law firms and lawyers, also in-house counsels, but to help in their work. So those are not meant to ordinary citizen to look at the cases, because those tools are not free, and those are dedicated tools for certain parts of the whole procedure.
But Merete, do you think in the future legal tech will be much more than the impolite way I describe it, maybe that it's mainly to just summarize huge volumes of documents? more legal solutions.
Yeah, but it is like that already. I mean, you didn't give us much time to explain what AI could be used for. But of course, I mean, the lawyers are already using AI to help them in the legal counseling. And so very often they use AI to check what they have done legally, or maybe they do it the other way. They start with the AI to sort of which direction should we go, or suggest, legal solutions to this.
Would you trust a recommendation from legal tech when they recommend take this way?
I mean, you should always check it, because we know, at least so far, the AI hallucinates, and you always. So it has happened many times that it comes up, for example, with court cases saying that support this and this argument, and then you go in and check the court case, and that such a court case does not exist. And for example, I tried a new AI tool for arbeidsrett, labor law, and asked a specific question, and it came up with an advice. And advice was actually very good, but it came up with about 5 or 6 cases, Supreme Court cases, that supported the argument. And I checked all the cases, and only one of those cases was real. The other was hallucination. And this was like a quite advanced AI tool. So I think it's, which shows that AI is a huge help for lawyers when you are an expert in the field, because you do have to check, is this the correct advice or correct answer? But I think this will be much better in the future.
But Mia, if you have to check everything, maybe you won't save as much time as you hope.
No, but you do. I mean, that's why also you should try AI on the fields and areas the best in the beginning, because then it's easier for you to understand. And as a lawyer, you're always you need to give correct advice. So I mean, you're still, even if you use AI, you still have the responsibility to make sure that the client gets the right advice, of course. But you save time, absolutely, because you can have an answer very quickly, and then from that you can move on and check if is this correct. Maybe I can go further, and then you continue. So it goes quicker, but still you have to be right, of course.
Niko.
Yeah, and of course you can save time from the administrative burden. So for example, time tracking, you don't have to put things to spreadsheet anymore. You can automatically track your emails, track documents you have modified, track calls you have made. So you will get all the timesheets automatically, and that will help to focus on client matters.
Andrew, is there a risk that law firms won't need as many lawyers as before because of legal tech?
I think there's a risk of the different levels of lawyers. I think there will still be a need for lawyers, because you have to do the actual assumption as a lawyer. Is this case the correct way or not? But the training of younger lawyers is going to be challenged by this, because the AI is capable of doing a lot of the rudimentary work where you would normally start in a law firm to get the feeling of how cases should be handled. And I can fear a bit that the sort of qualification, education of young lawyers will be kind of difficult to have as a business case if you can do it with an AI tool just as fast for a lower cost. So I think there's going to be something where the businesses have to adjust to how do they make sure they have the next generation of lawyers to be able to take over. But I don't think in general it will be a lowering in the number of lawyers.
Mia, for Sweden, do you see this risk, or?
We haven't seen it yet, but of course, as Andrews say, I mean, we need to make sure also that the younger lawyers learn in correct ways, and that they can uphold the quality of the good lawyers. So that's something we must make sure.
Just to add on that, I mean, the question or the quality of the answer you get is depending on the quality of the question you ask, and therefore you have to be a reasonably qualified person to ask the question. Therefore, it would be extremely dangerous if you had a person with no prior knowledge to the law asking the questions, because the machine only answers the question and it doesn't see the bigger picture or understands that you need to also ask this question to get the full picture. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we still need lawyers, because otherwise the clients can ask themselves. They can ask ChatGPT, what should I do in this situation? And they believe they have the correct answer. And that doesn't work.
Merete, do you see a risk that many people will sit at their computer, non-lawyers, and think, I don't need an expensive lawyer. I can do this with AI, and I can maybe buy a license for legal tech, and I'm okay.
Absolutely, and I do think in the future, they do already now, can get technical ways of making a contract and, sort of ordinary things. Lawyers have to be aware of the competition, and they have to realize what are their added value. How can we actually be of help to the public or to the people seeking our advice? Let me just tell you one thing that a lawyer was interviewed in Norway, and she works for an organization that gives the member legal advice. And she said, so far, AI has only given me more work because, of course, all the members, they check with ChatGPT before they come to me. And usually the answer they get is not relevant or not the right advice. So then I have to spend 1 or 2 hours telling them why that is not a good idea. And then I had to start my ordinary work as a lawyer. So I think, of course, it's going to be a huge competition from all the legal tech companies, and the lawyers have to be aware of that. And they have to, think, okay, what is what can I do? What kind of service can I give to the client? How can I help? So I think, and that's why they should all come to these legal tech days and, learn the AI and all the legal tech themselves.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. Also, when you have a meeting with your client, it's like a new meeting nowadays, because the client always think that he or she knows the best before, the meeting has started. So then you have to explain, okay, you have checked yourself, so it's a new way of having discussions and information with your clients, actually.
But in the long run, let's say in 10 or 20 years, do you think there will be as many lawyers who study at the universities and so on as today? Or in the long run, is there a risk that, or maybe Niko wants to answer that?
Yeah, one point is that we have Googled diseases and symptoms for a couple of decades, and so we are still having doctors. So I think the situation is the same with lawyers. We still need professionals.
And no influence at all in the number of lawyers needed.
I won't say at all, but maybe our work will change, so a way that we will do more analytical work, and there's still a need of that.
Andrew, I think you touched upon that. The efficiency can increase with AI and legal tech. Does that mean that you will reduce the prices for clients, or will you make better profits in the future?
I think the price model of you're selling billable hours will change into some sort of new factoring of the value proposition you give to the clients. I think the difference between AI tools or legal tech and a lawyer is kind of factoring in the human factor. Like, one of the things lawyers tell me is, when they have clients coming in saying, oh, I've already prepared the case, I've done this on the internet, and I know what the solution is, they seem to not be willing to ask the questions which go against their case. Uh-huh. And therefore you need to always be able to challenge the person. Have you actually, what about this issue? What about that issue? That's not sort of factoring into your advantage. And then maybe after the meeting with the lawyer, it turns out that the case is not so clear-cut, and they have to think more of, do they want to follow this case or not? So I think there's also sort of helping the client actually asking the real question, which is an important factor to really sort of also mitigate.
But you don't think this will affect the pricing?
It's difficult to say, but of course the pricing will have to be done in a different way. If you have the answer very shortly, but it's been extremely costly to build the AI system, you'll need to have some way of getting your sort of reward for putting all the investment into the system, and therefore just factoring in time is maybe not so sort of correct to do anymore.
And I just want to add also, you have to think that court hearings are still, personal. We don't have robots in court hearings. And I think in the future, lawyers are really needed in court.
Mm. And Merete, you mentioned that legal tech or AI has found many cases that were untrue. I would be very scared to use technology if I saw that result. You still believe in the long run this will be an asset?
Absolutely. And first of all, I think that the AI probably will be better.
Yeah.
You know, it has really become much better only in a few years, and I think that will continue to develop. And I think it will just the lawyers have to master it and to learn it and to find good ways of using the AI to support them. And I've spoken with a lot of lawyers now who, especially those who have used AI for maybe a year and a half or 2 years, and they now say they could not think of a working day without AI, and they've learned how to be efficient in the use of AI, and I think that will just increase. And I'm quite optimistic. I think like other technical tools, it has changed the way we work. And I think it's going to be more fun to be a lawyer. All the mundane sort of tasks are going to disappear, and they're going to have more analysis and really use your knowledge in most of the work you do for a day. So I think it's I'm optimistic and think it's going to be good to be a lawyer in the future also.
Mia, is there a generation gap here? Young lawyers are eager, old lawyers are a bit scared to use this, or am I prejudiced when I ask that?
Not really, actually. I believe that even the lawyers a bit older are very interested and have learned a lot already. So I think maybe it's more a personal question on the way you are as a person and how
I agree.
Curious you are actually more than the age, I would say.
And Niko, you've used this, and all of you have used it, I know. But all in all, would you say this is just as good as I had hoped, or is it still too many flaws?
With regards AI, for example, it's all about data sets, what the data is beneath the AI tool you are using. And this is the reason why we should use, as lawyers, legal technology instead of a general AI tools, because we have better sources of data, and therefore we have better answers also from the tools. And this is vital to understand when we are adapting new tools and technologies in law firms and within the legal sector, that we are having the right ones in use, and therefore it's more meaningful when you understand how the solution works and how it could be adapted to enhance your own work.
Mia, are there any ethic challenges with using legal tech and AI?
Yeah, absolutely.
In what way?
Of course. I mean, like we said before, AI and legal tools can hallucinate and give you the totally wrong answer. And the lawyers are always responsible to make sure that the advice is correct, for example. Then we have the professional secrecy also. I mean, you cannot share clients' information where someone else can get hold of them, for example. So you really have to be careful. And that's why we've written a special guidance for lawyers using legal tech and AI for them to try to remind them on what they have to take on and what they have to be careful about.
And Andrew, we heard Merete uses it in her work as in the Bar Association. Do you use legal tech a lot too?
We use it, but we are a little reluctant due to the causes Mia was just mentioning there with the confidentiality and the certainty of where does the data actually go. But we are using it, and we have now certainty that the models we're using is only being trained by, you could say, a close network of information. So it's not sort of free access to people outside the bar, because of course that would be a breach of confidentiality. So we're beginning, but I think we've been very cautious also because we are the bar, and therefore we have to make sure that we do this in the absolutely correct way. And just to touch about the good question of the generation gap, I think it's a general misunderstanding that young lawyers are more open to AI than more senior lawyers. I think it's more actually a question of what type of lawyer you are. And I don't see the gap between young and sort of more experienced lawyers.
So which type is enthusiastic?
Well, I think one who's curious to see if we can do this in a new way. And then I also think you have to realize that lawyers as a whole is very, very different in the level of competence when it comes to AI. You have lawyers who have almost no idea of how this works, and then lawyers who are very, very capable. And therefore, it's difficult to talk about lawyers as a one uniform group. It's a very differentiated group of knowledge.
Did you want to say anything, Merete?
Yeah, I was just saying, following up what Niko said on, that the AI models should have enough sources to draw from. And I think it's one of the issues for especially the Nordic bars is that most of the AI tools are from US companies and they're trained on US legislation and US cases. And I think it's very important to try to develop AI software that's trained on Nordic legislation, Nordic contract, Nordic case law.
And there are enough production also of Nordic companies who produce legal tech.
I mean, yes, luckily we were seeing quite a few new startups I think in all other countries that has starting to use AI. But it's still like what kind of sources are available. And I think one of the responsibilities for our bar association is to make sure that, first of all, that all the sources, then when I talk about case law, legislation, those kind of things are available to the AI providers. But I think also it's one of the things that's important for the bar associations too, is to try to make sure that it doesn't become too expensive. So also the small and law firms and the one single lawyer business actually can afford to buy or to get AI software and use it in their daily work.
And Mia, I don't know if you know anything about prices. Is it very expensive, or can also small firms invest in this?
It can be quite pricey. That's why we actually, from the Swedish Bar Association, just the other day made deals with 4 different companies, like framework agreements for the lawyers to get a little bit lower price for the AI tools. And that's 4 different AI companies, because their products are different and they are used in different ways, so the lawyers can try which one suits them the best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and we have done the same, and we've only done it entered into agreements with Nordic legal tech companies, but because because then you can really get a reduced price because they are small and they need to get into the market. So I think hopefully some of these companies will survive, and I think we really have a good dialogue with them, and we also we talk with the lawyers who use it, and they keep changing their software all the time, and if we ask them to do something with their product, they really try hard to accommodate us.
Yes, Andrew.
Just to follow up on that question, I hear from the law firms that also the development cost of legal tech is also coming down. To begin with, it was extremely expensive. Therefore, it was really only the huge sort of tech companies who could endeavor out in sort of creating new tools. But because the cost has been lower, such I think it's going to be very interesting to see, like maybe 5 years from now, who will be participating at a thing as legal tech target, because I think it will be a variety of a lot of small startups, because it doesn't take that much initial capital to really come up with a good product, as long as your idea of doing something with the law is new and sort of innovative. You can actually access the market very, very quickly.
Niko, with your experience, if there are lawyers listening to this and think, I must try this, I'll ask the same to all the 4 of you. Do you have any advice to lawyers who hardly know nothing about legal tech and AI? What should they think of, and so on?
Participate events like Legal Tech Day and also trainings the bars are providing, and get more information. So that will help. Ask from the colleagues. So be curious. Maybe that's the best.
Merete, what's your advice, if you have any?
I would say start today and get a deal with one of the AI providers. It's not like a big decision I think all of the AI providers have some advantages and probably some disadvantages, but they're all useful. And then just start doing it, and then next week take a prompting course. And then you can get going, and ask the better questions to the AI, and slowly you learn. You'll of course do a lot of stupid mistakes, but as long as it's a legal AI provider, or you won't put the questions out on the big internet, and the client confidentiality is you're fine with that. So get going.
Right, Andrew.
I think a lot of lawyers, if they have not engaged with AI, they are a little reluctant because it seems sort of a daunting task to get started. But really just start with small tests and small questions and just sort of slowly come into the pace of using it. And then you will realize that it can help you in some areas and suddenly become more and more accustomed to using it. And then you can start sort of making your business case on it. But in the beginning, you really just have to sort of be playing around with it to learn it.
Mia?
Yeah, there's no other way than trying yourself. I mean, people talk about that you have your AI moment, when you realize like, oh, wow, I can use this in this way. And you only get your AI moment if you try. So some of the companies now we have made agreements with those companies, for example, you can try for free for a week. And then take a week and you have to try it a lot, ask different questions and try it. And in that way you realize what you can do and if it's good for you or not, or you should try something else.
And one last question. Let's say there is a pod by Advokatsamfundet in 10 years where you will summarize how work has changed for lawyers due to legal tech and AI. What do you think you will see, Merete?
I mean, I think it's very difficult to look into the future. I think it will have changed a lot. And as I said earlier, I think the work is more fun because you are really using your education and the experience and your analysis for the client's best.
Yeah. Anyone else who wants to look into the future?
Yeah, I'm sure maybe that lawyers that work a lot during the evenings, they can go home and have dinner with their family at 6:00 due to AI. So that's a good thing in 10 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
We are using more technology and maybe we are wearing more technology.
Yeah.
Right.
I think basically I'm not that scared. I think maybe one of the positive things which could come out of this was that the general access to justice for the general population is higher, that people get more aware of what their rights are because they can look it up easier.
Point.
And then they know if they have something they need to go to a lawyer and ask a more qualified question about. So hopefully it will raise the awareness of living in a rule of law society.
So
wow, smart.
Everyone will be happy and have their rights.
That's my vision.
Everyone will have their rights due to AI. Great.
To summarize in one sentence, future is bright when it comes to AI and legal tech. That's very good. Thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.